Hey, I'm Aldyn, the Twin Flame Psychic, and I have a pick a card reading for you for the mid-month of September. Last couple weeks, wrapping it up here, right? We're gonna move from Virgo season and into Libra season. And this is for you, for your twin flame journey. The first card is how can you balance your chakras right now to really align and harmonize your twin flame union. And the second card for you, with whatever pile you pick, is for your abundance, for your life purpose. So the stones that I have on top of each card, if that helps you pick, if you already made up your mind and you're sticking to it, that's good. Just like focus, enjoy. This one is Mangano calcite, and it is the smoothest stone, as you can see. It's also a really light pink color. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of tell. I know I have this fun light going. I thought I'd try it out for reading. We'll see how you react to it. If you like it and you want to give this a like, or if you have a comment about it, go ahead and comment below. I love to get feedback on what's fun and what you prefer. So Mangano calcite, very sweet energy to it, very pure, very like you can't touch this kind of pure though. Like, if you're a jerk, you like it'll just run right off of this kind of energy. This is citrine, and citrine is, very much about abundance. Well, maybe but I guess I say that because the color to me really speaks of that creativity and abundance, that energy. And just got a really sunny, positive vibe to it, related to the solar plexus and the sacral chakras in and of itself. And we'll see what card comes up, for you if you choose whatever pile you choose. They're all going to be good. I haven't looked at the cards yet. I shuffled them and put them down. And then this is a Herkimer diamond. It's really cool. You can see how it's kind of reflecting the fun light, the galaxy light. But yeah, it's really beautiful. And you can see this is the roughest around the edges of the 3 that I've put out. So, maybe you're vibing with that. Maybe you're vibing with, it's got some really beautiful prisms in it though and stuff. So yeah, and I kind of like that I like that aesthetic sometimes, right? It just depends. On maybe not so much for jewelry, but for having it as a piece. I like that kind of aesthetic some of the time. So see what's resonating for you. Just take a moment if you still need a moment to choose, and I will timestamp these, so if you don't want to watch all 3, if you do, because you're you're gonna do all 3 piles and choose one and then your second choice and then your third, well, whatever works for you. But yeah, how pick cards work. Probably you pick one pile and you go with it. So I'm going to start with the Herkimer diamond pile. This is pile 1, we'll say, pile 2, and pile 3. And let's see what we have for you. Okay, so first card is especially for your twin flame journey, for how you can balance your energy right now and all of that. Communication. So this is saying hey, focus. If you want to have more communication between you and between your twin flame, whether you know them, whether you don't, whether you're in union or whatever the case may be, you're focusing on communication. And you can see how in this card, communication isn't just verbal, it's energetic, right? And so you can clear communication even within your own self so that you can communicate with your twin flame even, on deeper levels, more clearly. You can align just at the core, basically, because if you're clearing your own blocks, then you're really clearing the blocks between you both at the same time. And this also speaks to just how you communicate to the world, too, to anyone that you are close to in different kinds of ways, even your pets, even your plants, other people, of course. So yeah, communication is key, and this is focusing on the throat and also the third eye chakras, because I mean, this is the throat chakra, the card, but then you can see how it's depicted, and you definitely see like the action going on there, right? And so this is also speaking to, you know, maybe secondarily focusing on your intuition too, but breathing at this time, like focusing on breath, if you do any kind of meditation, could be really helpful. Making sure that you're drinking enough water. If you're in the northern hemisphere, you know, it's turning into fall, usually drier. You should always be drinking water, but it's a nice tip. Can't go wrong with that, right? And yeah, also sometimes other things are more hydrating. I know I've read that certain places, so I think that's actually a good point. Not just about hydration in and of itself, but like, you know, if you're really not enjoying something, like, oh, I'd rather have some tea than some water right now, sometimes you want to honor that and explore why that might be, things like that, because you think sometimes we place more value on what we think is best for us, but what are you really being called to do in each moment by the divine? And that's how you communicate with yourself too. So that's going to do it for the first part of pile 1. I guess I'm going to put this a little off to the side so we can get to the card number 2. And this is for your abundance, for life purpose. This was from the Chakra, what is it called? The Chakra reading cards by Rachelle Charman. And then these are Notes from the Universe on Abundance by Mike Dooley. And and they're, yeah, I already said what they're called. I was almost going to repeat that. So this card says, it's kind of strange, but when you know exactly what you want to create, first you have to define it in terms of the end result. Second, you have to physically move toward it. And finally, you must let go of how you think it will actually show up, at which point the thing you want starts coming to you on its own terms from a direction completely unexpected, not unlike a cat. It's kind of funny how at the bottom there's always these little like funny ways of signing it from the universe. So this one says not unlike a cat. So, you know, you can think of how you personally think of cats, but I think that this does define that kind of cat-like personality well. Just like, you know, sometimes they want affection at unexpected times, things like that, generally speaking, right? Maybe you have a different kind of cat. But yeah, and it doesn't mean that, like, you know, everything is always going to come from an unexpected, crazy place. But sometimes it even comes from the place that you were expecting it, but somehow the energy of it is different, or it's a little bit unexpected. There's a plot twist, right, in a positive kind of way, or maybe an untwist, you could say, where finally things are just like moving how you've desired them to. But this is a card of surrender, so when you surrender, then they can start to move with more momentum. And surrender doesn't mean doing nothing, you know. Yeah, I mean, if you really do nothing, your life's probably not going to change a whole lot. But if you are doing inner work and surrendering, and also then taking actions as you go, that's a good thing. And so, you know, if you're doing your part in clearing your communication blocks, it becomes easier to when you know exactly what you want to create, and then you're automatically communicating that just by like knowing it and recognizing the desire in your heart. And like this card says, defining it, but then you don't get to define how it all happens. I mean, there's kind of, I don't know if it's really a saying, but just like it would be very boring if you knew how everything was going to happen. And then, like, you know, half of the fun is like getting there, right? Like living your life. So it's safe to allow that process to happen and to just deepen your communication and relationship with the divine as you go. So that's for pile 1, all right? So we're going to move on to pile number 2 now. And so the first card here for you, for your twin flame union, for your energy, for balancing your chakras, is Inner Child, and this is a green heart chakra card. It's very heart opening, even high heart. You can see she's like wrapped, almost looks like cotton candy or something, but a nice light pink color. And yeah, I mean, it could be a little boy or a little girl, really. But anyway, it's about just inner child healing, and that is, there's a soft quality to it. There is a feeling of really not just letting yourself off the hook, but also like when, really being more sensitive to when you are being hard on yourself, and getting clear on that so that you can even let go of attachment more deeply in those places where there are patterns. And so you have to look at the patterns that are coming up, that are happening, in order to do that. You can't ignore them. So sometimes that requires more sensitivity to your feelings. It requires more self-compassion and actually some very strong boundaries. And sometimes you might find yourself even then throwing a little bit of a tantrum or expressing yourself a little bit differently, because you're still learning and you're accessing this inner child, and you're giving this inner child what he or she needs to feel loved, right? And that's very important, and it's attractive to your twin flame, because you're basically like recreating your childhood in the light of love, and that's where you both can easily find each other, in that place, and evolve from there, as adults, and in union, in a relationship, all that. And it doesn't always exactly happen in a specific order. Some people do more child healing before they come into union. Some people will find themselves doing more afterwards, but there's a lot of it usually to be done as you just continue your inner work of harmonizing your union and your ascension process. So it's just safe for it to be just that, a process, but to desire to go deeper, like to embrace that desire, if you have it, embrace it. And so yeah, just remember also to focus if things feel out of balance, to come back to your heart center. That's going to really help you the last couple weeks of this month. And card for abundance and purpose, okay? And look at it looks, I think, is it a redwood? That kind of a feeling, right? So it says, the best thing about every financial meltdown, global or otherwise, is learning that whatever was lost can be recreated, exceeded, and made better than it was before. Hold on loosely, the universe. I love this card because it's a reminder, first of all, if there are people in your life that are either living their own life like, oh, bad things happened to me, I'm a victim, I'm never gonna get out of this, whatever. And if that's you, that's okay too. I mean, but you don't want to stay like that. You don't want to stay in that mentality, and you want to get away from those kinds of people, even if it just means putting up a boundary or whatever it means. You can't have that kind of thought system going on in you and also move out of it. You have to align yourself with love, and love is abundant. And yeah, it means that you also have an abundance of energy, though, to work. So you have to put the pedal to the metal? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to go for it sometimes, and you have to know that other people are capable of that too. And so sometimes the most compassionate thing to do, if people aren't making that choice, is to really, like I said, put a boundary, and also do it for your own self, and not leak your energy to them, because then people will come out of the woodwork and try to take from you, and sometimes little in obvious ways, or sometimes obvious ways, and that's not okay. Now, another side of this is, though, being generous and knowing when you're serving and how to serve in a way that God is actually asking you to. So it's important to know the difference. And sometimes we don't know, and so we have to learn, and that's okay too. So very much about having compassion for yourself. And I think there's something here with the word meltdown and inner child healing that is like, this is it showing up in finances or in other parts of your foundation, that like kind of throwing a tantrum or needing to get to the bottom of something emotional, the feelings of something for you. And so sometimes it doesn't always look how you think it would. Sometimes it looks like, yeah, things are, it's a meltdown. It doesn't look so good, but if you just would see yourself through it and know that the divine is holding your hand always through it and going with you, and not get sidetracked again by the naysayers or get caught up in poverty consciousness, which so many people in big and small and in obvious ways will try, almost guaranteed, to get you warped into, because they don't want to change, because they're afraid of changing and taking responsibility for their lives. So you, just by you doing it, you don't have to do the work for them. That's theirs to do. But just by you doing it, you are being like a role model, right? And then again, still serving. And this is a time though more of healing for you. So your serving might be more on the simple side, or it might just be more, just like really pure ways of serving that are not necessarily too straining or too complicated, but might come in bursts of energy at the same time. So just pay attention to that, because the more you can serve sustainably in a way that feels good, that's meeting the desires of consciousness, that's uplifting the people, or the plants, the animals, everything, but essentially just life, basically, right? So you're doing your part to serve, then you're going to also be uplifted out of any kind of meltdown that you have experienced. And even if your foundation's pretty solid, maybe you're removing, just a splotch in it or something, that just like really clearing it out. And sometimes you think things are worse than they are too, because they don't look so good on the outside, but you've actually like gotten to this point because of a lot of patterning and you're already working your way out of it. So, just focus on what's in your heart, and that abundance is real, and don't be afraid of serving and working, and like letting go of any kind of brain fog or heaviness, moving through it, but not pushing too hard, just gracefully moving through it. So that's going to complete pile number 2. Okay, so we're going to move on to pile number 3. This was Moncano calcite. I don't know if I said the last one was citrine. First one was Herkimer diamond. Now we're on to pile 3. So this is for your twin flame union, this first card, for what, like chakra to focus on the most, or chakras. Some are a little bit mixed. So let's see what card we have here. Ooh, relationships. Hello. Well, and I think, maybe there's something here for you going into Libra season too. That sign is very much associated with relationships and harmony. Not always necessarily even romantic, but there's certainly that component, and all the signs are romantic. Okay, like everyone has a twin flame. But so you are focused though really on some romance and cultivating some mature aspects of your union. And whether or not you are in any kind of union or even know your twin flame, it really is still either way about harmonizing within yourself and continuing that process. Because even after there is less fear to motivate you, or maybe no fear. Maybe you've completely moved through any kind of fear about, being with your twin flame. Well, something else has to motivate you either way, right? And so there has to be, you have to desire love, and you have to be able to generate energy that moves you into deeper romance, with the divine too, because pain and suffering and all those things that are great, just kidding, they're not great, are not going to motivate you forever. They're like, at some point you're going to heal through it, or you've had enough contrast, you're going to make a new choice if you are on this journey. But then the question is, well, yeah, what's going to motivate you now that you have moved past that, or now that your twin flame has committed to you, or whatever? How are you going to keep doing your spiritual work? So it has to be only because you love the divine, and you love love, you love loving. So, this is how your relationship can really move on into the next cycle, is recognizing wherever you have really made that choice and been able to hold that down, been able to really align in your consciousness in a place, and to not be afraid to go deeper in those places too, because that can help you build momentum. And it doesn't, you don't want to spiritually bypass those places where you haven't, but sometimes that momentum and that stringing into a higher consciousness, I think of stringing beads on a necklace sometimes, or something like that, maybe knitting or sewing, whatever metaphor you like, but something is being created that's really beautiful, and it's safe to be one with that process and to create in your reality. And that is naturally going to dissolve a lot of patterning and ego, and then you're going to be able to do the inner work, do the mirror exercise, links below for that spiritual tool by Jeff and Shalia, that's really foundational, and really the only spiritual tool that you need to harmonize your union with your twin flame. And you're gonna just you're gonna build that momentum from that combo of doing that inner work, but also recognizing where you have aligned, and choosing to explore, adventure into deeper romance there, and enjoy that. And I say, a new cycle, and because of the number 12 here, so it's kind of this completion of something and moving on to the next. And the last thing here to look at is that it's the sacral chakra. And so this also speaks to, we were talking about creation, we were talking about sewing, stringing necklaces, things like that. It is very creative energy. So perhaps doing creative things even with your hands, or however you like to create, can be helpful to building some momentum here too, and to romancing yourself. So, feel into whatever that means for you. And that's going to be even more attractive to your twin flame, but you're doing it just even with the intention of romancing the divine, romancing yourself and your twin flame too. So this card for you is for abundance, for your purpose. And so we got kind of a mountainside here, a cliffside. And it says, every single day I'm pressing out and reeling in the abundance you're making room for in your life, as I observe everything you think, say, and do. Yeah, I'm not so fond of the reeling in part. Pressing my heart out, the universe. These little messages at the bottom are so funny, how it's signed the universe. Let's look at them all. First one says, not unlike a cat, the universe. This one says, hold on loosely, from whatever song that is, the universe. And this one is pressing my heart out, the universe. So this one's for you if you picked pile 3, but just since they're all turned over now, thought it was kind of fun to look through them all. But yeah, I mean, this is just like, where are you repeating lack? This is pretty straightforward way to look at this. Like a real concrete thing that you can do for the last 2 weeks of September is just look at anywhere that you are repeating lack consciousness, either internally or even to your friends, family, coworkers, so on and so forth. Make a new choice. Doesn't mean sometimes you need to like bitch a little, I guess, to work through an upset. That's okay, but like have compassion for yourself. I'm not saying bottle it up or something, but make a new choice. And then, especially if you hear yourself repeating the same thing over and over, or feeling like someone is doing something to you, we've probably all been there. I know I have, but in the end, like, you can move through this, and you will. You just are going to reclaim your power. You're going to make the new choice. You're not going to worry about what anyone else in your life is or isn't choosing. And you're going to choose your abundance if you desire it, and let go of the rest, right? So you absolutely can do this. It is within your power. And like I said, the mirror exercise is your friend, right? And this is going to make more room in your life for positivity. And it doesn't mean, again, ignoring your upsets or anything like that, but you might start to notice that your feelings do start to shift in a more positive direction when you release your relationship, your attachment to poverty consciousness. And poverty, it isn't just financial, right? It's lack, it feels bad. You probably know what I'm talking about, but it can come through in a lot of different ways. And you don't have to accept that anywhere in your life. And you can just work through it however the divine's asking you to work through it. Because it doesn't always mean, and for everyone, that it looks the same exact way on the outside, how you work through it. But the main thing is that you really heal your consciousness, and you will naturally find yourself taking actions that are in alignment as you do that. And this is going to help you attract abundance, and abundance naturally helps you manifest a deeper harmony within your twin flame union as well, because that is an abundant state of being, and it's true abundance. It's not trying to make a quick buck off of, whatever the latest investment scheme is. It's really living your purpose and choosing to serve. But serving doesn't need to be like, you can find ways to serve that are beneficial to all, but also benefit you, so that you have more energy to serve in more, in better, in more creative ways, things like that. And also more time to be with the divine. So it's like, these are things that you want. You don't want necessarily to try to shortcut or get rich quick or something. If you want to ascend, and you have to go all in with that and your purpose, and put your heart into it. And there's a lot of different ways, again, that can look on the outside, but keep that in mind, like, because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean that you need to do it too. So that is going to complete this reading for the last half of September. And it's all time-stamped, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. Check out the links below if you would like to work with me. There's links for readings, and also I highly suggest weekly ascension coaching if you really want to clear the blocks to your harmonious twin flame union. I also do card readings and astrology readings, and I can incorporate other reading tools as well, like destiny cards and human design, especially if it's in person. A lot of people really like cards for their first reading, and maybe a little bit of astrology, so you can always specify to me too. And there's also links for free Twin Flame Ascension course by Jeff and Shelia down there, and when you sign up there is a 50% off coupon, because I don't know what else to call it. That sounds kind of like very whatever. It's coupon, okay? And it's great. I mean, it is great, and it's a pretty coupon too. But anyway, yes, you get 50% off of a 1-hour coaching session with me as well. So if you want to, you can email me to claim that, or chat me up somehow. So that's pretty much everything that I feel like can help you right now that I wanted to share. So yeah, keep in touch, subscribe if you haven't yet and you want to get updates when I'm putting out the latest videos. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your September, and I will catch you soon. Take care. Bye.